What the 92-year-old grandmother regretted the most in life. Modern people's lives got less and less fun as the labor had been divided. Human has been alienated since the division of labor. It means that it is not making the whole car but just screwing screws all day long. So the joy of achieving while working is gone, although you can make money. We spend the most of our days working and get exhausted at work. After work we wash up, drink beer, watch Netflix and go to sleep. What if you do this over and over again? The human brain doesn't remember doing the same thing that we repeat. In other words, even if we lived 80 years, it is as if we had lived one day because the same day continued to repeat itself. So even though we have lived 80 years, we have only lived one day. It is a monotonous life. I would like to introduce the text that I read in the class when I was in the university. There was a beaver. The young beaver loves to play and he is young and handsome. That's why he was popular with female beavers. He didn't do what he was told to do and played all day with the female beavers. One of the female beavers proposed to him. She was a young pretty beaver. There was only one condition in the marriage proposal. It was a condition that he had to quit his dissolute life and work hard. A husband should work hard for his family. However, contrary to expectations, the young beaver rejected the marriage proposal. And he decided to be a friend with Bieber, a pretty woman who proposed to him. But she chose the hard-working old beaver instead of the young beaver and had a child. When the old beaver had a child, he worked harder than before for his family. After all, the old beaver died of overwork. Lesson: life shouldn't be all about hard work. I didn't expect that the story ended like that. The professor in the class was furious with the ending of the story. She said she felt ashamed because she was lecturing with this kind of trash story in a textbook, and her face reddened as if her anger didn't disappear. After I read the story, I also wondered why it was published in the textbook. One day the man next door passed away. This man is known for hard working. His job is a daily chore for a construction company. Not only did he work hard at dawn but also made breakfast for his wife on that morning, although his wife didn't have her job. He packed lunches for his children. And when he came at night, he even did the laundry. He did all the housework and cleaning without taking a break even on weekends, and his wife was treated like a queen. Even though she was only a wife of the day laborer. It wasn't long before this man moved from small construction company to a large construction company. Unfortunately, while working he tripped and fell from the second floor to his death. However, his compensation for death was paid to several hundreds of thousands of dollars. It is an unimaginable amount of compensation if it were a small company. Luckily, because he moved to a large company, his compensation for death was huge. There was a problem then. His wife and children fought each other for more money. The family's story reminded me of the old beaver story that I read in the university. It's a meme that we can see on the internet these days. The 92-year-old grandmother's biggest regret in her life. I will copy it with original text. Even children raised with love are rarely in touch with their parents if they start a family. Will you take your hard-earned money with you when you die? Like when you came, you're going empty-handed. What is the life like? I do regret that I did work hard for a long time. What's unfair for me is that I have been working hard and hard without rest for my children. Even though I have much money and I want to live a comfortable life, I am sick all over my body. I have something to tell you. It is this moment that is important in life. You, who are watching this, do not waste your whole life in making money. Don't sacrifice yourself too much for the people around you. Live your life. Don't put off your happiness for later. Happiness doesn't pile up like money. It just disappears like smoke. So, live happily now as if you will die tomorrow. Be delightful even in small things. Just live with the best of the happiness you can get, without doing something big or something noble. It is the most important thing that you live the happy life. What the 92-year-old grandmother regretted the most in her life. She said, "I thought the one who laughs last had a good life. But I was wrong. Now I get to know the one who laughs often has had a good life. My mom often says these days that she is old so sick. There is a rich man who has $10 million. He has been spending his whole life working for stock in front of a computer monitor for decades. He could make $10 million. But since he collected $10 million, he was greedy to collect $1 billion. So, he visited the famous rich men, listening to the know-how of rich people with $1 billion, giving them gifts and buying them lunch. However, the words of the rich people were the same. They told him to live his life and not to spend all the good times trying to save money. You can see a lot of rich people with the billions recently passed away from corona. So, I felt the futility of life. Billionaires also die without anything. Standing in front of the mirror, he can see himself, knowing that he is just old and shabby. He said that he regretted spending all his youth saving money. He said that if he could go back to the past, he would save about $1 million and enjoy life. This is my story. It was at the end of a summer vacation when I was in elementary school. I spent my vacation in my grandparents' and just studied, so I couldn't play with my friends in the neighborhood. So I looked at the date and saw that summer vacation was only 2 days away. So I went to the playground to have fun. There was no one. None of the children were left. If I spent all my time saving money, my youth would go away and I would feel emptiness at the end of my life. Why are you bored although you have much money? That's because you are not happy. People feel happy when they are recognized. Sound mind, sound body. Read a lot of books to make your mind fulfilled. You'd better gain knowledge in the various fields, including not only financial technology, but also the humanities such as literature, philosophy, and history. You may as well read books to accumulate knowledge, and you become wise. And many people want to have a relationship with you, and you can be recognized by them. Health is important to your happy life as well. Let's make the body within normal range of the BMI. I'm not talking about building muscle. That's because the risk of adult diseases such as high blood pressure, hyperlipidemia, and diabetes is reduced when you get old. If you are not healthy, much money is useless for your happy life. Conclusion: let's live happy life just now.